Hey, what's up, y'all? So we're back and it's time to add color to our image. So I want to show you how to set this up. First off, you should have your line work all figured out. Make sure there's no holes that are open so that when you go to fill your image, it doesn't spill out into different areas. The next thing I'm going to do is just turn on my reference layer. And I like to put it in the corner right here because I can still see my picture and it won't be in the way when I go to add color. So I'm going to lean into this. I'm going to go to where the face is and just choose my first color. And I'm going to choose this kind of like skin type of color. I'm going to grab the paint bucket and just fill them in. Now, what most people will do with this is they're just going to fill in kind of like the different areas and then call it a day. But I kind of want you to do something more than this. And here's what I'm suggesting. So when we were painting our fruit bowl, we used a lot of different shades to make things stand out. So if I look at my reference image, I want to kind of zoom in and I can see maybe under here there might be a little bit of a shadow. On this side of his face might be a little bit of a shadow, and you can even see it in the nose right there. So we want to try to get that look in our actual design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the eyedropper, and then it'll give me a handful of shades. I'm just going to go a shade or two darker right here. And once I have that darker shade, I'm going to go to my brush. I'm going to make it big and soft so that it blends really nicely when I go to add color. If I want to make it smaller, I can just press comma or I can press period to make it bigger. And all I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to lightly just kind of brush in a shadow right here so it could feel like there's more going on. And if we just look at that, you can see how if we zoom out, just that bottom of the neck look like it has more three-dimensionality to it. And with this, you can do a couple different versions, making like it a really dark brown and building it up from there. But let's go ahead and apply that same kind of look to the face. So I'm going to get my brush and I want to just look at my reference to see what's happening. And it looks like maybe on the side of the face there's a little bit of a shadow. So I'm going to do just like a brief little thing just like this. Just something light just to kind of get me going. And then I may make my brush smaller and start to do other areas too, maybe under the eyes. And with this you can adjust the flow of this so not as much comes out. But the beautiful thing about this tool is that you can set the boundaries for what you want the actual computer to color. And then you can start to make some real executive decisions about how you want this to be. So right now I'm kind of like making this form look more three-dimensional by adding the shading in kind of like the eye area. And that's kind of what the way that you should approach doing this too, is how do I make this look three-dimensional with this design. And I got some nice things happening. If I deselect, ooh, he's starting to come together. It looks like a three-dimensional person. Now if I wanted to add even more to this, what I can do is take that same highlight that I was doing and I can go with an even darker color than that. This feels a little reddish. I'm gonna bring it more to like the darker brown type of neighborhood. And I'm gonna grab my magic wand. The thing that you're gonna notice with this is that it's only gonna choose sections because you created this fade, but what you wanna do is leave your hand on shift and then select again so you can get everything. We could bring that brush back in and just go ahead and just paint it one more time, just a little bit darker. And now we're really starting to get that fade happening with this. So instead of just using one color, we're using 3 different colors to really push this and make this object or this figure look realistic. And that's what we're trying to get to, is how do you get this thing really looking 3D and looking like the person it's supposed to. So hopefully this is helpful. This is just kind of like a beginning phase of this as we get started. But I think that this is starting to look like our person here. There we go. So let's keep it going and let's keep up with our drawing.